I've scaled a brand with Facebook ads from $0 per month to 134K per month within just 3 months. And in this video, I will show you the exact steps we took, the exact campaign structure we ran, and the exact creative strategy we went for to achieve such results. My name is William and I've generated over 50 million in sales for 7 to 9 figure e-commerce brands with performance creatives and meta ad systems. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So when this brand came to us in February, they had no ad spend at all. They were running the brand without Facebook ads, but had already proof of concept. So in February, they had nothing in ad spend, and we started in March, and within 3 months, we have transformed this into a brand, making 133K per month just from Facebook with an average ROAS of 5.3 in June. Now, first of all, I will show you the exact campaign structure and ad account strategy that we were going for to set this up and to scale this. If you're familiar with my approach or some of my videos in the past, you already know that we always aim for a one broad CBO structure, but of course, each account is case by case. So you'll see here also other specific strategies that we have implemented for this brand specifically based on their individual situation. In March, we started running ads and we spent approximately only 2.7K in that month, just on testing. As you can see, what we did first is we actually started off with a catalog campaign. Why is that the case? Well, because this brand is selling a lot of products, and first of all, we wanted to see what kind of products resonate the most. So we ran this catalog, and just based on the catalog ads and its performance, we would see very, very early what kind of products actually resonate the most, what kind of products get the most clicks, and what kind of products get the most sales just from catalog ads. That alone is super valuable because this tells you, okay, what kind of products actually to advertise in your ads and to create ads for. Then what we also did is we actually prepared specific ads for specific products, the top performers from the catalog, and we put this into our one campaign CBO structure. Now, one important thing here is you can see the campaign is called audiences, and usually I always advocate for broad. Now, with this specific brand, they sell jewelry that is priced at 3, 4, 5K or even more per piece. And because the pixel didn't have any data yet, we actually split tested it. We also tested some broad catalogs, as you can see here, and here this one is on interest. And we saw, because the pixel has no data and no direction at all yet, the interest audience actually performed better. So what we did is we actually launched the first campaign on interests and also the catalog on interests just to feed the pixel the right audience data. Now, quick disclaimer here, most of the time this is actually not needed. This is a strategy that is rather from the past, that we need to train the pixel with interests and so on. We just saw that for this specific brand, it still performed better than the instantly broad approach. So this is why we went for it. But in general, it's case by case, and most of the time I see that running broad immediately works better. For this specific brand, not. So let's continue. Now, we did this, and then in the audiences, we started actually launching the first ads and started testing them. Now in April, we doubled down and we still ran the catalog ads. They were pretty successful. You can see here the ROAS pretty decent. Actually, that contributed to half of the sales volume. But we also managed to scale up the manual ads. We found some winners. The first batches did actually a great job here. And what we did then in addition is also launch a broad campaign, because the broad campaign is actually supposed to perform better eventually than like interest ad sets and an audience campaign. You can see that in this case, it did not do that yet, but we launched this campaign anyway with its own custom ads, because we know that long term, the broad campaign without any limitations in audience will perform better. And we already saw the problem here. We scaled fast and successful, but at the same time, of course, the catalog ads are mainly good for retargeting. So that was a dangerously high frequency here. Then the audience is also for a cold campaign, and that ad spend level had already quite a high frequency. So we launched the broad audiences on top. Now jumping into May, we scaled both the campaigns, the main campaign and the catalog ads. Still both performed really well. We also introduced some ads with more top of funnel communication that actually brought the frequency for May on this campaign further down. On the broad campaign, that was still even lower. And by the way, I will dive into the kind of ads we ran to do this and the specific campaign structure inside later on. Right now I just focus on the high level picture so you know the overall account strategy. So here we basically just scaled, increased the budgets, and then fast forward to June, the main campaign actually outscaled the catalog campaign. and that with better purchases and better ROAS. And this is of course exactly the goal that we had in mind, because the catalog campaigns from the first month, they had way too high a frequency, but we actually managed to even get this down by having great top funnel ads in this campaign and pulling people into the funnel that then could get retargeted by this catalog campaign. And as you might know, because the catalog campaign mainly retargets, the frequency is high, but at the same time, because we broadened our audience and we made our funnel bigger and added more people into it through this campaign, it was also able to reduce the frequency throughout the months overall. And this is where we got the revenue of 130k per month. Now throughout the months we have refined the strategy a bit more. Fast forward to now, the growth slowed a bit down because we already maxed out some audiences in terms of messaging, but now we are widening our messaging. Again, about the creative strategy I will talk in a while. Right now you can see this brand is making almost 200k per month from Facebook ads alone. The customers of course return and keep purchasing again. But in terms of campaign strategy, we have transitioned to exactly what we have aimed for before. You can see the audience campaign is actually off. Right now it is running broad, and the broad one performed so much better than the audience campaign, than some interests, just as predicted, that right now we are just running this broad campaign as the main campaign. Now we have also a promo running because we are approaching the holidays, and because we had Black Friday, we have this Black Friday promo campaign running, which actually produced almost as many purchases as the main campaign. And then of course we still have the catalog ads as support and another small support campaign that I might explain a bit later. Now this is the high level strategy that we went through, basically determining what kind of products have the most potential with catalog ads, then doubling down on those with interest targeting because that performed better for the brand when they had no data yet at all, and then transitioning to a broad structure like here. So this campaign and the catalog campaign, they are actually internally built the same. Let me quickly show you the structure of this campaign in case you're interested. Basically it's very straightforward. The way it works is that we just have our tests running here. One ad concept is one ad batch, so here we have them. We keep running the ads that are producing us profitable performance. The other ones we turn off. We judge on the ad set level. It's as simple as that. Now you can see here even some ad sets that have a ROAS of 3.3, but that is not good enough for this brand because the items are high ticket and high value. Actually, they're looking for a higher ROAS like these, so we keep them running at this ROAS, and the overall ROAS should be higher than 6. Now the way we structure these tests is in the following way. Let's look into this one. So basically here we have the same kind of ad concept, but we run different split tests. Quickly for context, this is a brand that sells pure gold jewelry, but just for context, this is why we run split tests like these. In general, like with each of those ad sets, we run a split test. We run one ad idea, one ad concept, but different executions, and in between the executions we split test. So because we are running this pure gold jewelry, and most jewelry brands are running just plated jewelry and are selling them for insane markups because of branding, this is the kind of angle we take. So we say designer jewelry is just designer. Well, with Covera you actually have an investment, and then we have this bullet point structure. Now here we compare it to one alternative. Now the second test is comparing it to a completely different alternative, and that is luxury watches, because those rings are in the price range of luxury watches, and if someone considers buying a luxury watch, they might also buy this kind of gold jewelry, because in the end this actually retains way more value and this has way more real value. So we compare it here in between these. And then the third split test is actually comparing it to a typical ring for men, again plated and branded instead of pure gold. So those are the differences here to a different, like to a general jewelry type, not necessarily rings to rings, here to a luxury watch, here direct comparison rings to rings, and this split test actually shows us so far comparing rings to rings resonates much more. This is where the ad budget goes to. And this is how we structure all of those split tests. So we have an actual hypothesis that we want to test. That's very important. Many brands skip this. So as you can see here, we again split test against what kind of alternatives in the market we can compare and what resonates most to generate sales. And then we have split tests like these in all of those ad sets. This is how the main campaign is structured internally, and then we just run those ad sets, those tests, and then of course the best and most scalable ad sets get the most ad spend. It's as simple as that. Now the catalog ads is also very straightforward. Here we just have different catalogs by product category. We started experimenting with this a lot in the very beginning. There we had single campaigns with catalogs. Now we just have them sorted by product category. Now in terms of creative strategy, you will see that there are ads with higher and lower frequency. This is of course intended. What we basically do is we are running partially video ads, we are running static ads. In each of them there is a certain split test. And then we have of course retargeting ads that basically make more sense for people who are already familiar with the brand. So for example, this one, smart investors will choose. This doesn't really say much if you don't already know the brand, but for people who know it, makes sense. This is why the frequency is higher, but it works well. And then we have those more top of funnel concepts that have the majority of ad spend because of course the cold audience is most scalable and the frequency here is the lowest. And if you wonder how we started out, this is also exactly how we have structured it here. So here actually the very first ad set hit, and then also 7th test that we ran was a big winner. Basically again, same split test here. Here we had actually even not such big of a split test, but just a different headline. This was before Andromeda really rolled out, where it still made sense to just have different headlines. Now it's a bit different, but yeah, this is really the structure. And the way we scale this is that we just test around 4 ad sets every single week. We add them to the main campaign, and the winners, they stay there, and if it performs well, we increase the budget, and the losers, we just cut them, we just turn them off, and this is how we scale. Now also to give you an overview of how the promo campaigns are structured that we run on this account. So very straightforward, very simple. We have a hot audience, a warm audience, and a broad audience, and those have a bunch of promotional ads just all mixed because there's not really time to split test for promotional ads. So those ad sets inside are identical, and this is only what we run during promotions, or right now it's also not just Black Friday but also the holiday sale. So as you can see on the ad account structure side, we turned this from an account that had no data into gathering data about the product, then gathering data for the pixel, and then optimizing the broad campaign to be able to scale it, and then turning the broad campaign into the main campaign as it should be, to not over retarget, because otherwise you empty the funnel faster than you nurture it. So this is why the broad campaign, the one main campaign, has to be the biggest campaign. And then we just added the catalog ads as retargeting because they work well, and also the promo campaign for sales events like Black Friday. And on the creative strategy side, we mainly focused on top funnel ads, of course, just to keep the frequency low and actually keep getting new people into the funnel, while the catalog campaign still kept retargeting. Some of the ads we made are also middle of funnel ads, but this is overall how we stabilize the account, how we scale it further, and this is also how we will keep going to 200 and then 300k per month sometime in 2026. Now if you have a brand and you have proof of concept that you think your brand has way more growth potential, this is exactly how we scale brands, and this is exactly what I can also do for your brand. If you're interested in that, click the first link in the description and schedule a call with me today. Keep scaling. Bye.